Hello and welcome. This is Tyler from Gamesradar at E3 2011, and I have to admit that I'm a little nervous, a little embarrassed, and a little sticky because I just saw The Elder Scrolls Skyrim, and I think I just jizzed my pants. Here with us is Craig Lafferty. He's the lead producer on Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, and Craig, I just gotta say, this game looks amazing. Like, I love the detail in Oblivion, and it's just way over the top from what we've seen so far of Skyrim. Can you tell us a little bit about the creation engine and what that means in terms of visuals for Elder Scrolls fans?
Yeah, like you said, it's a follow-up to Oblivion. It's the latest in the Elder Scrolls series from the same team that did the game. So with each generation, with each game, we start over. What do we want to get from the game? And we knew being on the same hardware, 360, PS3, and PC, we could get a lot more out of the hardware. So we basically ended up rewriting everything. We have a new renderer, new animation system, new user interface. We have a Radiant story system. So basically, we almost started over and wrote everything from scratch, and it's called the creation engine.
Cool. The draw distance looks amazing. We saw fish swimming upstream. We saw all the shadows on the flora and the fauna. It looks amazing. And as you mentioned, this is just follow-up, not a direct sequel?
Correct. It's just the latest game in the Elder Scrolls series, but each one sort of stands on its own. Takes place in the same overall world, but it's not a direct sequel.
Now, I understand this takes place about 200 years after what we saw in Oblivion. Can you kind of set the scene for what Skyrim is, the land that we're seeing?
Yeah, it's a much more harsh, rugged world. It's up the most northern province in Tamriel, the land of the Elder Scrolls games. So there's huge mountain peaks, lots of snow, much more rugged world. And then dragons are back in the Elder Scrolls series. So you're dragonborn. You have the ability to use the shout, which is the language the dragons speak. And so you're in this rugged world fighting dragons. Just much more, hardcore kind of feel to the game.
Another thing that really impressed me was the tweaks that seem to have been made to the combat system. Can you talk a little bit about the new system?
Yeah, we wanted to sort of take the evolution of, you do what you want, play how you want. So basically, your right hand is your right trigger, left hand is your left trigger, and you can put anything you want in either hand. So you can have sword and a shield, you can have two weapons, you can dual wield now, any one-handed weapon. And then we wanted to make magic feel much more like melee, hand-to-hand combat, much more the ebb and flow of combat. So with magic, you can have a shield and magic, you can be like a battle mage character, have a sword and magic. We're going to get much more like a hardcore, sort of like a rough double feel to the magic combat as well as the melee combat.
Now, you mentioned the returns of dragons, and just in general, it seems like we're going to be seeing a lot, not just dragons, but lots of really huge, epic, gigantic monsters. Can you tell us about some of the other things we'll see?
Like in the demo, we have some mammoths and giants and huge creatures. They don't all attack you right away either. The world sort of exists on its own for you to play in. And then also dragons, and dragons are their own. They're like any other creature in the game. They're placed around. They're not scripted. We don't control exactly what they do. So they're a creature in the game as well as a central part to the main quest, the main story.
I guess one of the things about Oblivion that I really enjoyed was that it wasn't linear. You could go anywhere you wanted. And in dungeons, enemies and stuff, they seem to kind of level up with you. I was wondering if you have the same kind of system set up for Skyrim.
It's more like what we did with Fallout, where the world sort of adapts to you, but we have there are places in the world where you'll go, and it remembers what you've done. So the leveling system is more. It sort of adapts more like the long Fallout lines than Oblivion.
Well, thank you very much for talking to us about Skyrim, Craig. Elder Scrolls V Skyrim is going to release on November 11th this year, and if you can't remember that, that's 11/11/11.